Over the several decades of my membership in CALLERLAB, I have had the privilege of presenting several Milestone Awards. This award is usually given to people well known in the square dance community. One of the challenges of preparing a presentation speech is to keep the identity of the recipient from being figured out by most of you for as long as possible. A challenging goal when the recipient is white and open for calling performance. This evening, our Milestone Award goes to one with a long history as a caller. He's the son of a caller, began his calling activity more than 4 decades ago. Actually, I went more than 5. His calling has been primarily in his local area. He has been active in the Caller Association in that area and has held most of the offices in that organization. However, it is not his activity as a caller that we are recognizing tonight. The 5th basis on the list of requirements for milestone recognition reads this way. The recipient must have exercised broad influence in the square dance activity, although local, geographic, and highly specialized activity may lead to recognition. In this case, the specialized activity that we are recognizing will identify him for a few of you as soon as I begin describing him. Many of you know that in recent years I have become very interested and involved in the preservation of square dance history. That work takes many forms. Often, and particularly in the past, the preservation of history has been done in libraries and museums. In that setting, information is accessible only to the very few willing to track down the right repository and then get permission to search for the items of interest. Over the past decade or more, there's been a huge change in that process. CALLERLAB has, with the encouragement of the History Committee, taken advantage of that change. We have posted on our website the complete set of direction from even before our first convention. We have also converted our convention session recordings to digital format, and these too are becoming available on our website. Sometimes the process is fairly passive. Documents are prepared on a computer that are already in digital form. Tape recordings, once they've been put in the recorder and connected to the computer, pretty much convert themselves. A couple of years ago, we presented the milestone to Bob Brundage, in large part for the series of taped interviews he conducted. Those tapes have been digitized, but they have also been transcribed. That means someone sat and listened to the tape and typed the whole discussion into a computer. I did a couple of these myself, and I can tell you, it takes time. Some other people helped, but tonight's milestone recipient did a huge share of those transcriptions. A few years ago, another of our milestone recipients, Cal Campbell, recognized that it would be very valuable as an historical record to have the whole set of Sets in Order magazine available in digital form. With some help, he assembled a complete set of the magazines. But then he had the challenge of getting it converted to digital format. The process is not trivial. I've copied a few documents, and I know the work it takes. Each page is individually placed on a computer. It has to be carefully aligned and kept in place while the computer does its thing. The digital copy is given a name and saved. You then go to page 2, and so on for 12 months, with the number of pages growing to more than 100 in each month for the 38 years the magazine has published. As Cal was assembling the full set, he was approached by the person we are honoring tonight with an offer to do the digitizing. Cal was more than happy to accept the offer, and many of you now own the digitized set, which I think was first sold by the Lloyd Shaw Foundation at our convention in 2013. That digitized form of Sets in Order is also available to read online. When that task was finished, our honoree offered to do the same for the Lloyd Shaw Foundation quarterly publication, American Dance Circle, and it too is now available on the Lloyd Shaw Foundation website. With Sets in Order available, it quickly became clear that a digital collection of the even longer publication of American Square Dance magazine would be at least as valuable. The publisher, our own Bill Boyd, gave permission for all but the last 5 years, the latest 5 years, of that magazine to be digitized and made available online. Our milestone recipient this evening was again approached and took on the task. It was a much larger job. and took a couple of years. It also took negotiation with the University of New Hampshire, where the full set is now available online. Most of the issues came from the collection of the Square Dance Foundation of New England, but the first 4 years were almost all at UNH. A couple of the first year issues were missing, and our recipient found them in the collection of a friend who donated them to complete the UNH set. I helped with proofreading to be sure that every page from every issue was included and was right side up. And was as accurate as we could make it. Few will ever understand what a massive undertaking it was to scan every page of 7 decades of publication. But we should all be grateful that someone was willing to take on the job and accomplish it so well. In his write-up for the session he took part at this convention, he identified the task as including a total of 1,348 issues. That was what he wrote up before he got here. When he actually did the presentation, it went to 1,545, I think. 1,545 issues, some of them more than 100 pages. It was a huge contribution to making the history of our country available to all of us. And by now, many of you know who he is, and I am honored and privileged to present CALLERLAB's highest award to Gardner Patton.
I didn't realize you could get an award for having so much fun copying Square Dance history. It really is important that we learn that history, have that history available. Hopefully all of you will take advantage of that by looking through those old issues and seeing how we've gotten this far. Another 50 years, people will be looking at you folks, at the magazines and what's happened, and they'll be saying, that's Square Dance history. And I'm sure that all of you will help in bringing that forward and making Square Dancing a success in the future. Thank you.